Where are you right now, Miles? It's a bit past the time we planned on going out for dinner now, right?
I don't really feel like going out now, so you can go ahead and eat by yourself tonight.
What? What do you mean you don't feel like going out to eat now? This is the day of our wedding anniversary, is it not?
Right. What is it, our 5th year now being married to one another? Well, I'm glad we could make it to 5 years together, but you can now start calling it the anniversary of our divorce. Zoe, today you and I are getting a divorce.
Huh? What are you talking about? A divorce? Why would you bring something like that up on a day like today?
I'm sure you understand the reason why, right? You haven't been able to bear a child for me all this time, and I've started to think of you as a defective product.
What?
It's been 5 years already, and you have not once gotten pregnant yet with a child for me. So that's why today I'm getting away from you. I can't keep looking at my parents' disappointed faces any longer as they continue to hope for a grandchild.
Wait a minute. That's not a good enough excuse for a divorce, Miles.
Oh, I think it's a very good excuse, actually. And even my parents are both saying that I have no use for you as my wife anymore. My parents have actually been wishing for the both of us to get a divorce for a long time now.
What did you say?
They are always going on and on about how they want me to get rid of you and marry a much younger and more healthy girl. You have to understand that at some point, I need to follow through with what they're wanting from me.
Well, if you all want me to have a baby so badly, then you need to start working with me on having one. I'm in the same boat as all of you, wanting a baby. And that's why I've been asking for us to go to a maternity clinic and see what the problem is. Yet you always tell me not to go and talk to them about any of it, nor will you go there yourself.
You think that kind of place is meant for men? And if someone were to see you going to a clinic like that due to not being able to have a baby, then I'd become the laughingstock of this whole city. They will tease me for marrying some kind of defective woman.
Nobody is going to talk about you that way or laugh at you.
You and I are getting a divorce. Then I'm going to find myself a young woman to carry my children. I'll be able to marry her, and that night after doing the dirty, she'll be pregnant with my kid, and I'll never have to be embarrassed around my parents again.
I'm so sorry, Zoe. I've done something terrible on the day of my wedding to you, and I so badly regret it. What? Did you forget to save me a seat or something, even though I RSVP'd and everything? Of course I made sure to have a seat ready for you. You're one of my closest friends. The problem here is that there's someone at my wedding that I didn't want to be here. What? Actually, about my wedding today. Well, it looks like your ex-husband is going to be coming here as well. What? You're talking about Miles, right? Maybe he's friends with the groom or something like that? Actually, it's a lot worse and crazier than that. It turns out that the boss of my fiancé is Miles's mother. What? And, well, I was totally fine with her coming to the wedding to see one of her employees get married and all, but I started to wonder why she wanted her son to come here as well. When she said who he is, I freaked out just a little. Huh? I want to know why your fiancé's boss thinks she needs to be having her son come to your guys' wedding. From what it looks like, you and your fiancé aren't even friends with him or anything, right? From what she was saying to my fiancé, she wants her son to be here so he can look for a partner he can get married to. What? To look for a new partner to marry? From what it looks like, he still hasn't gotten married after your guys' divorce. And so his mom has taken it upon herself to help him look for a new woman to get married to. She's even been trying to get a younger woman at the company to go out with Miles, sometimes even forcing them to. She thinks that just because she's their superior, she can do things as messed up as that. You're kidding, right? So she thinks that since he hasn't been able to find someone so far, the next step is having him come to one of her subordinates' weddings? Using someone else's wedding like it was a matchmaking party is crazy. Does she not realize that what she's doing right now is unthinkable? I don't think she does, or perhaps she just doesn't care. But my fiancé's told me that he can't say no to her because she's his boss. So because of that, it's looking like Miles is on his way here now. No way. I'm sure that you don't want to stay away from coming to my wedding, but you also don't want to see your ex here, right? It's not too late to have me tell everyone that you're feeling sick and let you stay home, you know. I am not going to stay away from the wedding of one of my best friends, no matter who's there. Thank you for worrying about me, though. You're really going to come still? Are you sure? You don't have to force yourself to. I told you I'll be fine, so you don't have to worry at all. It's been 3 years now since the divorce, so I'll be all right now. And I'm pretty sure for him, he doesn't care about me being at the same event as he is. At least, that's what I'm hoping for.
I never thought I'd be running into you again at a place like this. This really is a small world.
I feel the same way. I'd always planned on never seeing you, of all people, again in my life. But I guess not all plans go as people wish.
Exactly. I never planned on seeing you again either, especially now that you're such a fatty. 3 years has really done a number on you, girl, hasn't it?
Huh?
You were so sensitive about your body back when you were married to me, right? What happened? Did me throwing you away like that cause you to get that big? I guess that was the end of your romance life then, huh? Nobody's going to want to go out with some fatty your age.
You're being too kind, Miles. Especially when it should be you who's worried about finding a new partner to continue your romance life. From what I've heard, you still haven't gotten married after leaving me. And not just that you haven't gotten married again, but that you're working so hard trying to find yourself someone that'll take you.
Huh? You think I'm working that hard right now?
Well, you've had to use your own mom's position in order to get yourself a woman that'll go on dates with you. But even then, these women end up realizing just how awful you are and run far away from you. So now you're resorting to coming to your mom's subordinate's wedding in order to take a chance at finding someone? If this isn't you trying really hard to find someone, then what would you call it,
You shut up! I am going to find myself a woman to bear me a child, all right? And because of my desire for the perfect woman, I've been going on date after date, trying to hit every place I can in order to find me the one.
You made it seem like after the divorce you'd have yourself a young and healthy woman in no time. But it's been 3 years now and you still haven't been able to reel one of those women in. Seems like your plans for success have been a lot tougher than even you could imagine back then.
What is with you acting like that right now? You're really trying hard to make fun of me when you're the fat pig between the two of us. You became such a fatty right after losing me because you're a defective woman. I don't get why you think you can talk to me with that attitude when you're the one who's the size of my car and can't even do your natural job as a female and make a baby.
What?
Go ahead and keep talking like I'll never have a chance of getting married again. Because even you know deep down, your chances are long gone, and your bloodline is going to end with your fat butt. The only reason I'm working so hard is in order to make the perfect baby for my parents to see. What's wrong with me being so generous to them by wanting to do that?
I never said there was anything wrong with it. I was just thinking things have gotten pretty tough for you now after 3 years. I mean, you're having to come to a wedding that your mom was invited to, all because you still haven't gotten remarried and had any kids yet. If I were in your mom's shoes, I would have never done something as embarrassing to my son as that.
I know all kinds of people who go to weddings looking for a new partner. And because of what my mom did for me today, I have found the one. I may have had to run into a pig, but I was able to find the best fit possible to marry me.
What? You found yourself a good one?
That's right. Just a bit ago, I changed numbers with a girl who is 23 years old and is ready for me. She was very close to me the moment I started talking to her, and I'm sure within no time she's going to be all over me. Then all I'm going to have to do is ask her the question, and from there I can put a baby in her. I'm sorry that your fat butt is going to get left behind, but I need to move on with this new girl.
23 years old, huh? That's a pretty young woman for even you to be getting married to.
She's going to be the one for me, because someone that young is so fertile that just laying in bed with her will get her pregnant. Also, she happens to be a real hard stopper, so she is just perfect as my wife.
You're in your 40s now, and you think she's the perfect one for you? To be honest, she might actually stop your heart, literally, because of the age you are.
I'm gonna make sure she's mine for good, and that I have those kids my parents are wanting. Man, I'm so sorry, Zoe. I'm going to be the first between us to start a new life, making a happy family with such a young woman. Oh, but this was bound to happen. I mean, look at you. After 3 years, you turned into a fatty, and I turned into a real man who can pull any girl in.
Excuse me?
Just take a look at yourself in the mirror, for Christ's sakes. Not only are you the size of a small moon, but your skin looks like the surface of one too. Unlike me, who's going to get married to a 23-year-old hottie, you're going to live the rest of your life as a fat and lonely loser.
The only reason I have a belly as big as this is due to my baby.
What?
I just chose to stay quiet about it so that you could have your fun calling me fat and ugly. I can understand being so happy after finding a girl almost half your age to exchange numbers with. But I'm not so sure you'll even have a chance of going on a date with her. Women aren't into men who call other women fatty and pigs. And they for sure don't like men who can't notice the most basic of things, like my last name changing. I really don't think things will make it very far with that young girl.
Wait. What? What do you mean by that? Your last name, it changed? And you're pregnant? Are you trying to tell me that you got remarried quicker than me?
The year after you and I got divorced, I got married to a new man. I actually ran into him by accident, but it became the best accident I've ever had. Soon after we first met, we then got married. And before I knew it, I'm 9 months pregnant and running into my ex at a wedding.
Huh? What do you mean you got remarried before me? This is a joke, right? And you're pregnant now? That gut of yours looks more like fat to me than a baby.
That's not fat at all, rather a baby that my husband and I are going to love very much.
That's a lie. Why were you able to get pregnant? You were supposed to be the defective woman I left who couldn't get pregnant, even after 5 years of trying. That's why I left you, and for the past 3 years I've been looking for a perfect partner.
Right after I got married again, my husband and I went to the maternity clinic to talk with a doctor there. My husband wasn't even embarrassed by any of it at all, because he wanted to make sure we did everything we could to get me pregnant. But once we went there and both got tested, the doctor told me there was nothing wrong with myself or my husband. And the very next day, after a long nightly session together, I was pregnant. The only thing my doctor told me might have been the problem was stress when I was married to you. Or the obvious one being that I was never the infertile one. On my way out, I was given one last talk by my doctor telling me to make sure I took good care of myself when trying for a baby and to eat well when pregnant. It was funny, though, because the next day, after seeing I was pregnant, I called that doctor back and both my husband and I thanked him so much.
There's no way. We tried for 5 years and got nowhere. You're telling me that after going to the clinic, you learned that all you needed to do was get into bed with him and that did it?
Well, the doctor said there was nothing wrong with us, and that's probably why it was so easy to make a baby. It could also just be luck being on my side at the time, but who knows? I'm sure had you just listened to me back then about going to the clinic, we could have figured something out and had a baby together.
No way.
I'm sorry about that. I guess I'm the one who was able to get a head start and have the happy little family you were bragging so much about just then. But this was all bound to happen, right? You were the one that blamed me for everything, like your parents, and forced me away with a divorce. When all you really had to do was go with me to see a doctor and learn what the problem was between us.
Are you trying to say this is my fault? You're saying I'm to blame for you never getting pregnant?
Well, all I need from you was to go to the clinic with me and take some tests, but you were the one who said no to both of us going.
I'm not playing around anymore. Don't think you can start blaming me just because you got remarried and pregnant with a baby a bit sooner than me. I'm going to get married before you can even have that baby. And unlike your husband, I'm going to get myself a 23-year-old hottie to have a baby with.
You haven't been having any luck for the past 3 years, but you think now you'll be able to get married? You both haven't even gone on a date yet. All you did was get her number.
Well, her and I will be dating really soon here, so who cares about that? I heard that those younger girls love older men like me, and will 100% get pregnant when we start. She's already thinking of me right now, I'm sure. And before long, we'll be married and having that baby.
You sure?
I'm sure you didn't have a chance to see it at that time, but her and I are dying to sleep together. I'll make sure to show you just how much she loves me and wants me in a couple of days. You'll see that she wants to get married to me this month and carry my child, who will turn out way better than the one you're carrying.
I really think you've taken what's happened today a bit too far in your head. Did you ever realize that the young girl you got that number from today happens to be the CEO of the company your mom works for?
What?
I heard about this from my friend's fiancé. He told me it wasn't just your mom he invited today, but his CEO as well. And it turns out that the CEO's daughter wanted to come as well to his wedding, so he said it was fine for her to come as well.
What? Today, the groom's CEO daughter came here to see the wedding as well?
Apparently she's been friends with him since she was in college, so he had planned to invite her anyway, but decided to just have the CEO take care of bringing her along. The groom actually helped coach one of the teams she was on there, so it's more like a coach-to-player relationship. But now I'm having to learn that you were the one that ended up exchanging numbers with her at the wedding. I guess things have only gotten even more crazy when it comes to you, Miles.
What the hell is going on here? There's nothing wrong with any of this. She wanted to exchange numbers with me because young girls like her love older guys. Also, when I had given her my number as well, she didn't seem to be upset with anything. She actually seemed very happy to give me her number and get mine.
She might have just been putting on a face at the time as to not cause any drama.
What did you say?
Go ahead and ask your mom whether she was really happy to be giving you her number, all right? I just saw the CEO call for her to go to a separate room with him a second ago.
What?
I wonder what he could be talking about with her in there. You probably have something to do with all of it, so go over there and have a look yourself.
What should I do, Zoe? My mom is going to be fired, I think. And it's all my fault.
Oh my. I noticed that right after you went to go see your mom, you both left the wedding before it had even come close to finishing. I guess she was being talked to by the CEO about being fired then.
I had asked her for her number thinking that things between her and I were amazing. And I even texted her right after getting dinner the next day together. But it turned out she didn't even want to give me her number and felt pressured to do so. What the hell is all this? Why did she tattle about it to her father like that?
What are you going on about? I think what's going on here was bound to happen with you. But wow, now your mom is getting fired over it? I guess the CEO really loves his daughter a lot to be going through with something like that.
That's not the only reason she's going to be getting fired. The CEO also learned about how my mom would have all the younger women at work go on dates with me. And that's one other real reason why she's going to be getting fired. My mom was just trying to help me out by finding me women who she thought would bear me a child and marry me. But the CEO thinks she was abusing her power in that company to do all that. She shouldn't be fired for that.
Well, I think she should be after all that. I don't think the CEO took your mom forcing young employees of his to go out with you just because she's their boss very lightly.
What? You're not going to feel bad for me about what's happening right now?
Excuse me?
I just lost the one chance I had at getting a wife, Zoe. And not just lost it, but also lost my mom her job due to it as well. You're not gonna come and comfort me after all that just happened?
What the hell is wrong with you? Why would I ever come comfort you or be on your side when you're my ex-husband? Ugh, goodbye now, you freak.
Hey, wait! You're being cruel by leaving me. You think it's totally fine for you to be the only person between us to get married and have kids? Are you trying to tell me that you have no more feelings for your ex-husband anymore?
Yeah, I don't care for you at all.
What the frick? You and I were married for 5 years, and you're going to say something like that to me? Whose fault do you think all this was? You take responsibility for all this right now and give me a baby! I'm gonna get back together with you. You seem to be able to make kids now, so that won't be a problem for me. You get married to me again right now and let me impregnate you.
So is this what happens when a 5-year-old doesn't get what they wanted for Christmas? If so, then I'm going to need to make sure to raise my baby right, because your mom sure as hell did not. I happen to already have a husband, and I'm carrying his child.
Go and throw that man aside. And since that baby in you isn't mine, I want you to get it aborted. Go do that right now, and when you get back from the hospital, you let me sleep with you.
What the hell?
This has all been your fault. Letting me get divorced from you that easily 3 years ago. You forced me to have to go out looking for a partner with no help from anyone besides my mom, while you go to live the easy life. All because of you, I've had to waste 3 years of my frickin' life. And now my mom is losing her job because of you. You take responsibility for all of that, and let me screw you.
The only creature to blame is the one who is infertile and did nothing about it, and then threw his wife out thinking she was the problem. Stop trying to blame me for all your mistakes and then saying such heinous things, you disgusting pile of fermented roadkill. I hope you go to hell and have nobody around you when you die. Actually, I hope it happens soon, because it would benefit this world not having a monster like you in it.
What was that?
I'm glad you can't find another woman to marry you. You don't deserve to have a baby, and that's why you're the infertile one, you prick. And even if you were able to have one, I'm sure the woman who birthed them would divorce you soon after and take the baby with them. I feel bad for anything that would ever be considered your family.
What? You don't have the right to say things like that to me.
I'm only saying things like this to you now because I'm your ex-wife and I hate you. You always seem to think you could just blame anyone else but yourself for your problems. And now you want me to get an abortion because you think you can guilt me into letting you screw me and carry your child? You're not going to become a husband or a father thinking such absurd things as that. You being infertile and alone forever is this world's gift to the rest of us living on it.
Then what about what my parents and I want? I want to give my parents a baby that they can both feel happy about.
Buy a baby doll and show them that. Give it to them and say it's the only grandbaby you can make.
Excuse me?
Now, I've had enough of this BS. I'm going to erase any memory of you off the surface of my brain and live a lovely life with my family. So don't you ever come into my happy world again and just go screw yourself. What I had heard after that day from my friend who had just had her wedding is that Miles's mom ended up getting fired and her husband ended up taking her place within the company. Then, after the crazy old boss was out of the company for good, the environment within the workplace improved, and that next quarter the company was making a lot more profit than previous years. When it comes to Miles and his mom, they ended up moving to a new town and getting an apartment there closer to where his mom would be working her next job. But she wasn't quite finished with her crap and would continue to ask both coworkers and customers at work if they wanted to marry her son. This then led her to lose her job soon after, and she'd be forced to start her cycle all over again with yet another job. For Miles himself, he would continue to try asking out different women, hoping to find someone who would marry him, but soon he realized that the only way he could win anyone over was with money. This led him to start borrowing tons from the bank to fake that he was well off, which is only going to lead him down a hole which will get him closer to hell for sure.